What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So last week we went over the top 5 Pokemon that Ash Ketchum should have released. By the way, you should totally check out that video. And in that video, I told you guys we'd also be going over the top 5 Pokemon Ash shouldn't have released. Well, a promise is a promise because that's exactly what we're going to be looking at today. If Ash not releasing the Pokemon from last week's video wasn't already bad enough, it's made even worse by the fact that he released the Pokemon on this list, all of which could have helped him immensely in becoming the Pokemon Master that he so desperately wants to be. This video involves a lot of awesome Pokemon and a lot of bonehead decisions, so without further ado, let's check it out. The first Pokemon on this list is Primape, and I don't think Ash should have released it for a number of reasons. First off, Ash only had it for a few episodes, so why even catch it if you're just going to release it a few days later? Granted, Ash has done this a few times, but it's never been a smart move any of the times he's done it. The thing that makes it even worse for Primape in particular though, is that it had such a distinct personality. It wasn't a boring Pokemon on Ash's team by any means, and usually Pokemon are given distinct personalities when they have some sort of storyline to fulfill, so it was extremely odd to see Primape go so soon. The other reason why Ash shouldn't have released Primape is because it was actually a really tough Pokemon. It went from being a Mankey to evolving into Primape to winning a fighting-type Pokemon tournament all in a matter of days. And while Primape was crazy at times, it started to bond with Ash shortly before he left it behind. And with Ash being so focused on becoming a Pokemon Master, he could have seriously taken advantage of Primape's strength, and might have even won the Indigo League with its help. Oh well, I guess Ash just likes to lose. Next up is possibly the most infamous Pokemon Ash has ever released, Pidgeot. Now Pidgeot is one of the first Pokemon Ash ever caught as a Pidgeotto, so it had a lot going for it just because of that. Additionally, Pidgeotto was extremely loyal and reliable for Ash on top of being a good battler. In fact, it could be argued that Pidgeotto was Ash's most reliable Pokemon at that point, aside from Pikachu. However, the icing on the cake that makes this release so painful is that Ash released Pidgeot in the same episode that it became a Pidgeot, so we as viewers never really got to enjoy it, and Ash never got to take advantage of one of the few fully evolved Pokemon he had at that time. Now, the reason that Ash released Pidgeot, which was to allow it to protect the local Pidgey outside of Pallet Town, was an admirable one. However, it started an equally infamous trend of Ash needlessly releasing his Pokemon for this reason. Pidgeot was such a close friend and yet such a huge case of what could have been, since Ash never really had it on his team once it evolved, so it's a huge disappointment all the way around that we never got to see what it could do. Like I said, you can't really hate on Ash for this one, but it still hurts. In at number 3 is a Pokemon with a case very similar to Pidgeot, and that would be Gudra. Now, Ash releasing Gudra is especially painful for me personally because not only is it a result of that annoying trope where Ash releases his Pokemon to protect the local area, but also because it's a really powerful Pokemon and one of the best that Ash has ever had in my opinion. Now, we all know that Ash has a habit of not evolving his Pokemon, but he actually did evolve most of his Pokemon in Kalos, and obviously did so with Gudra, raising it all the way up from a Goomy. This one really just bothers me in particular because Gudra is one of my favorite Pokemon, and on top of that, it was a very strong Pokemon for Ash that was an unnecessary victim of one of the anime's most frustrating habits. You know, Ash, these are the reasons why you can't ever win league tournaments, so I don't want to hear any crying when you end up retiring and haven't won anything. Can you tell that I'm salty? Coming in at number 2 is Haunter, and Haunter is so high on this list because of how much of a boneheaded move it was for Ash to release it. Now obviously he only had it for a couple of episodes, and the only reason he caught it in the first place was to beat Sabrina, but that is exactly what makes it such a stupid move for Ash to release it. Ash had come across an opponent that he had absolutely no chance of beating, and he was so outmatched that he had to go find a new Pokemon just to be able to beat her. Now he finds this Pokemon in Haunter, and Haunter allows Ash to actually beat Sabrina when before he had no chance whatsoever. Granted, Haunter didn't win in the traditional sense, but a win is a win, and why in the heck would you release a Pokemon that allowed you to beat someone who you previously had no chance against? That is literally the exact opposite of what you should do if you want to become a Pokemon Master. Stuff like this is exactly why a large portion of the Pokemon community doesn't respect Ash, and it seems to be something that still haunts him to this day. And number 1 is probably super obvious, but it definitely couldn't be any less than number 1, and that's Greninja. Now there is a lot, and I mean a lot, going for Ash and Greninja. Ash had Greninja ever since he was a Froakie, and had him on his team for almost the entirety of the X and Y series. He was also another one of Ash's Pokemon that he fully evolved, which definitely means something when it comes to Ash Ketchum. However, why don't we cut to the chase? Ash and Greninja had a connection that literally hadn't occurred between any trainer and Pokemon in hundreds of years. I mean, Greninja literally started turning into Ash himself when it became Ash Greninja, and you're gonna throw that away, Ash? Even if Ash Greninja hadn't happened, Greninja would still easily be one of the closest Pokemon to Ash, but the fact that Ash Greninja is a thing puts Greninja in the Pikachu tier in terms of how close it is with Ash, and we all know that Pikachu is never going to go anywhere. Now, all the other picks before this were bad in their own way, and Ash was stupid for releasing all of those Pokemon. But releasing Greninja after all the two had gone through is on a completely different level, and realistically the only thing that could ever top it would be if Ash released Pikachu, which isn't going to happen. I know that Ash has the trend of starting fresh with each new region he visits, but bringing Greninja with him to Alola would have been perfectly fine, and Greninja would have fit in perfectly with the tropical scenery. Ash has easily made some big mistakes in his long 10-year-old life, but this is easily one of, if not the worst of them all. And there you have it, those are my top 5 Pokemon that Ash shouldn't have released. Honestly, I hate that Ash is such an idiot because he would be such a great protagonist to follow if he was actually a competent person. And even though his stupidity makes for some good laughs, it also makes for a lot of headaches as well. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments below if there's any other Pokemon out there that Ash shouldn't have released. Finally, make sure to subscribe if you're new because I upload great Pokemon content all the time, and until the next one, I will smell you guys later.